Hello and welcome to Training Tuesday for Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. I'm Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Equine Sanctuary, and tonight's topic is one that I'm asked about fairly frequently, and that is, can I still target train my snake, or how do I target train my snake if they live in a top opening enclosure? So that might be a modified fish tank that you're keeping your snake in, or a terrarium that has a screen on top, or a bin or a tub that you've modified into a habitat that only has a top opening lid. So whatever type of habitat you're using, if it doesn't have any front opening doors or side doors, and the only way in and out of the habitat is through the top, it is very possible to still target train your snake. You just want to make sure that there are plenty of items for them to climb on from the bottom up to the enclosure opening on top. Make sure that you're layering so that the snake has plenty of things to climb up from the bottom on, all the way up to where the top opening of the enclosure is. And then you'll want to make sure that your approximations include step-by-step targeting across the enclosure floor, and then a little by little up all of the things you have for your snake to climb on until they've reached the top opening enclosure threshold. Then you want to start reinforcing them, coming to that threshold and leaning their head over it a little bit. Don't expect your snake to come all the way out of the enclosure the first time they make it to the top. And then you want to eventually make sure that you have a platform or a station or something that you can roll up or place adjacent to the enclosure that is safe for your snake to climb out on. And eventually you're going to do these approximations until they are ready to climb all the way up to that top opening, over the top opening threshold, and out and onto whatever you have for them waiting outside of the enclosure. I always place the platform there several sessions before I'm actually ready to ask them to come out towards it. And then I always reinforce them for coming out towards the platform with just part of their body before I ask them to shift completely out. And I'm going to show you an example of that with our king snake Grogu, but I have many other examples of that in previous videos of lots of our baby corn snakes, because I generally do start them out in top opening enclosures in glass terrariums with a sliding locking screen top, and all of them have successfully learned how to target across their enclosure and up to the threshold and out. It's not a problem, and I'll link some of those other videos in the video description of this one. This is not Grogu's first time doing this. As you can see, he's already partially shifted himself out of the enclosure. And so now I'm just asking him to come further out of the enclosure and to place part of his body on the station that I've got adjacent to it. And then I give him the reinforcement. Here's another look at the layering I talked about, and here's an example of Grogu utilizing that layering after we've done a session to make his way from the top of the enclosure back down to the ground. I've got perches and some shelving way towards the top of the enclosure threshold, which he's obviously very used to, because even when we're not training, he has the choice and control to climb up there if he wants to, and he climbs around there quite often. So he already knows how to use all this layering to get up and down within the vertical space of his enclosure. So here he's climbing over one of the perches that's at the very top, and he's making his way back down to the bottom. So not only does he have some real branches in there and some PVC perching, but he also has some tubs in there. And then his actual water dish is tall enough and textured on the sides so that he can use it as a ledge to crawl all the way down to the very ground level, where he can go and burrow in his substrate and make his tunnels, which is one of the things he likes to do. Here's a look at all that layering from a different angle, and you can see on the far left of the enclosure where I have a shelf, as well as all those branches and perches. And then it is very important that for top opening enclosures, especially for small diameter snakes, that you make sure that the lids are very secure, because once they do learn how to climb up to the top and realize that's the way out, they're going to want to do that even on occasions when you don't want them to. So I actually make sure that I use the sliding top securing lids for these terrariums, and I always put a secondary security mechanism over that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that clarified things for all of you who had questions about target training your snake through top opening enclosures. But if you have additional questions, don't hesitate to contact me at behavioreducationllc@gmail.com, via my website at behavioreducation.org, or you can message me on Instagram or Facebook, or you can just comment below here on YouTube and I'll answer your questions. Until next time, everybody, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.